On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we are live. Hello and welcome to PropTechBuzz, podcast channel. More than the podcast channel, this is a new age digital marketing platform for PropTech products globally. We call ourselves New Age because there's no other platform that combines the power of media. Yes, we are a media house. We have an editorial board, a bunch of researchers that write a lot about PropTech innovations from across the globe. We cover stories from more than 18 countries now. We have covered stories from all the way to Vietnam, to Canada, to South America. America, of course, 70% of our content comes from US. But we combine the power of media. We have products on our platform, we have leadership, and then we have community. So why to say when I can share, when I can show, let me quickly show you what the platform is all about. I'll take just a minute. So here you can see you can discover global PropTech products, discover global PropTech news, leaders. So we have leaders. So if you see here, we have around 2,390 members as of today. And out of these members, we have around 133 VIPs on our platform. So these VIPs are PropTech founders, CEOs, investors across the globe. And you can find them here. And every day we pick close to 6 to 7 products from around the globe and we promote them, we launch them, so to say, on our platform. So as you can see here, Flamingo is having a launch, and then there's HighSpace, there's Wisex, Sleekon, Real Reports from US, Nuka Space from Europe, and then there's an African player called Ask Property. So they have launched today, and members who come to our platform, they are able to vote them just to show their support. And the winners, next day, they get a product spotlight here. So the top 3 get the product spotlight here. And not just that, we are also a discussion board. So that means people are also engaging. As you can see, we launched discussion board just 2 weeks ago, and we already have around 60 plus discussions happening with all these members. And we also have a private discussion forum for the VIPs, wherein non-VIPs will not be able to access to this forum, but there are some really engaging conversations happening also in the VIP. So if you are a founder, if you are a CEO, if you are an investor, do find time. It's free as long as you're a founder or a CEO or an investor. Do sign up for this platform, and I'll get you into the VIP to participate in this some very exciting conversations. As I mentioned, we are also a media house, so we have stories covering from all across the globe. So here we write stories about fundraise, we write stories about exciting new innovations that are coming from all over the world. So if you have some exciting story, if you have something to share, just write to us and we will be happy to publish stories about you. So that was about PropTechBuzz platform. With that, let's welcome our guest today. Our guest is Matt Knight. Matt is a very popular PropTech investor, and I have been following him for the past year or so. He runs one of the largest PropTech angel group and writes a massively popular newsletter, Vertical Tech. He has been a seed investor in many companies like Popify, Zensource, Aminify. I will let him give a sense of the portfolio during the course of the conversations. So before we get into the meatier stuff, let's welcome Matt. Matt, welcome to PropTech. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. You said popular twice, and I don't know about all that, but I'm pretty tall. People usually remember that, I guess.
No, you are popular because I follow your newsletter to the T. In fact, many of your landscape has been a source of information for me, and I know a lot of people have that. So thank you for doing everything that you're doing, and it's a privilege and honor to have you and talk on some of these topics in depth. Before we get into the meatier stuff, why don't we know a little bit about your personal background, your career trajectory, on what you have been doing all these years to the time you're doing today?
Sure. Yeah, I come from real estate private equity. I worked at a big PE shop in the last recession called Colony Capital, and I managed a few $100 million worth of problems for them, including some of the single family rentals we bought with Colony American Homes. I was involved in that. I didn't manage it, but I was involved in that. It was not as sexy as it sounds, but it was fun. And we did a bunch of transactions there. And then I left in 2013 with a private investor who wanted to buy property in the Sun Belt, like Virginia to Arizona, and pretty quickly saw that tech was a lever we could pull that nobody wanted to pull in 2013. There was no PropTech. I was just a huge dork. And so I eventually found my way to helping start a venture fund with a partner out of Atlanta. And it was great. It went well. And we had an incubator with WeWork and a bunch of other companies, which we could talk about if you want. We had an accelerator as well, and helped build that up a little bit with another great investor, and then ended up leaving in 2019 and accidentally starting the largest angel group in the world in PropTech, as you said, which I still run. And then for a couple of years, I helped build a PropTech fund out of a California-based generalist VC firm called Sway Ventures, helped build their PropTech fund, and then ended up leaving in 22 and started working with a nonprofit in the PropTech space, doing some more hardcore tech, deep tech, academia, mental health things that are more about the ecosystem. So I run the foundation, I run the angel group until somebody makes me grow up. That's what I do.
You mentioned PropTech was not existing in 2013. So you are saying PropTech is a recent phenomena, and on a calendar, 10 years is still recent. Would you say PropTech is 10 years old today? It's a decade old.
No, I mean, it's been around for a while. You just didn't call it PropTech. I mean, CoStar and Yardi and RealPage, there are companies that have been around. You know, Argus Excel has been used in real estate tech, right? So there's been tech for a while. I mean, the 80s at the least, right? But as an industry that is taken seriously by investors and attracting startups and young talent, that's relatively recent, in my opinion.
Got it. And you mentioned about this largest PropTech angel group. Do you want to shed some more light? I was not aware of it until you spoke. How big is this? Do you attract from all across the USA or outside USA? Just give us a sense of your angel group.
We have about 200 members, a little more than that. Half the group is PropTech founders, half the group is real estate owners and operators. And because of how we work and how often we meet, we have not done a lot outside the US. We have a few in the UK. We have one in Vienna. We have a couple at Copenhagen. So Europe more than anywhere. We've done a little bit in Latin America. I still haven't done a lot in Asia because of the time zone difference, but we are open to it, and we're having conversations around that right now.
Nice. I have a few questions there. There's a lot of interest. Excellent, great. So let's talk about your what kind of investor are you? Okay, you have been running this for some time now. You said that you helped build a fund, and then you're out of it now. But give us a sense of the investment that you do today. What is the source of that investment? Is it your own money, or is it part of the angel network, family office? What is it?
It's both my own money, and I syndicate with the angels. And so I find a deal that I like and a founder that I like, and we'll put money together as a group. And so we have one entry on their cap table instead of several small checks. They get one big check. Well, one bigger check from us. It's not a big check, but it's a bigger check than individuals.
Got it. And what is the focus of your investment? Like, how do you decide where to take your bets on?
Me or the angel group?
You're leading the angel group, right? So you have so how do you decide? How does that angel group decide? Is it a collective effort, or I'm sure you have a voice because you are an industry veteran and stuff like that. How do you decide where to focus your capital on?
Well, I don't control where they invest. They all make their own decisions because they're all grown-ups with their own money and their own appetites. So we have 200 different appetites for PropTech startups. And so that's why I ask, is I don't want to overstep and speak for anybody else's appetite, given their current liquidity and where they are with their position in their company and their daughter's getting married. Like, it depends on the person, right? Mm-hmm. For me, I tend to get excited when I see an exceptional entrepreneur on a real highly important problem. And that's going to be, that seems like an evasive answer, but it's really the truth, is There is no market where I'm not excited by an awesome founder on a great problem. It doesn't matter what interest rates are doing. It doesn't matter what's going on in capital markets. If you are a stud founder on a real problem, not a point solution that people could take or leave, but a real problem, I'm going to be interested.
Mm. So you are saying it is agnostic to which category of the products is where the winds are blowing, as long as there's a problem that is big enough or hard enough to solve and a good founder, you are betting for it. But still, give us a sense of the ecosystem today. Which are the categories of PropTech that are getting the bulk of the funding and that is getting a lot of interest and eyeballs?
Well, I suppose it depends on how you define PropTech. To me, PropTech is CRE tech, commercial real estate tech. It's residential tech, stuff that you sell to homeowners. And then it's construction tech. To me, that's what PropTech is. And each of them has their own different issues and strengths and weaknesses. Residential got overhyped because everybody everywhere thinks they understand houses. And so every VC that's ever lived has said, I understand residential PropTech. And so just supply and demand dictates there's a lot of bidders for a few good deals in resi. And so it went crazy high. And now it's coming back down to earth, right? But a lot of the late stage CRE tech and construction tech companies got a little ahead of themselves in terms of valuations relative to their traction. So they're catching up to valuations from 2021. So I think it depends on what part of PropTech you're talking about. I think it depends on what stage you're talking about, because the seed stage guys don't care what interest rates are. If there's a recession, they care that they're getting product market fit, right? If you're pre-revenue, no interest rate matters, right? It's more, am I solving a real problem? Are people picking up my phone call and engaging with my product? So again, I'm not trying to be evasive, but I'll tell you that it's very much all over the board and hard to make one pronouncement about the whole ecosystem.
Got it. So there are no favorites, commercial, residential, and
I'm way better at commercial, because residential, there is no, if you are an individual homeowner, you don't have a technology budget, right? If you are an office REIT, you have a technology budget. If you're an apartment developer, and so I prefer selling to people that have dedicated procurement and budgets. Like that's a much simpler thing to me. It's a much stickier customer profile versus my wife wants to renovate our bathroom. We would like a project management tool for that. Like that's, she probably wants it for free. Like that's not a great model for selling. And so I tend to skew commercial and construction because I understand it better, but that doesn't mean I don't do residential. I'm just better at the commercial stuff.
Got it. So you're talking about a pure play B2B, okay? And in that case,
or B2B2C, because in multifamily, a lot of people will pass along the cost to their tenants. Even office will do the same, and that happens a lot.
Got it. So let's unpack that a bit, okay? So commercial also is a huge spectrum, okay? So commercial can be in anywhere that you solve, that you provide them leasing software for big commercial buildings. It could be a workspace management, work tech management. What areas of commercial do you feel are exciting?
Well, I like office, because office is having an existential crisis right now. How we're getting people back into the office since they've got a taste of being productive out of the office. And so lots of problems in the office space means lots of opportunities for those of us that invest in tech and solve those problems. So I like office a lot right now. But multifamily has always been light years ahead of the other asset classes, maybe with the exception of hotels and hospitality. On especially tenant-facing technology, they've been way ahead.
Did you say tenant-facing technology?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Within multifamily, see, multifamily has a huge landscape, isn't it? I know you shared your landscape. I still remember it was like a zigzag, right? Within multifamily, are there areas that you see are going to bloom, or are there areas that you see are going to have a lot of traction? You talked about not giving a lot of leeway to point solutions. So do you see a lot of integrations happening in multifamily? Just give us a sense of the multifamily investment.
Yeah, with multifamily, there was a 10-ish year period of a war of amenities. I've got better amenities than that new construction guy right down the street. You should come rent from me, right? And so there was this war on, I can have newer, shinier things than that guy can, so you should pay my premium rent. And that's primarily in Class A, new construction, mid-rise. Like these are nice properties that are new and shiny, right? B fell behind, but there was this digital amenities war. There was IoT. We're going to have smart thermostats, smart door locks, smart lots of things. There was a tenant-facing app where I can pay my rent and reserve the common room and request maintenance when my light bulbs go out or whatever. And so there have been those wars that have sort of, I don't want to say already been fought, but been fought for a while. And some winners have been declared, I would say. And so if you came to me saying, I have another tenant app for a multifamily Class A in the US, I'd be like, it's about 40 companies that do that, and about 10 of them have raised a lot of money, and that's going to be hard, right? So you sort of look for other places where you can really drive value for the tenant. Or now that apartments are not leasing and rents are flat, it's more, how do I reduce turnover? How do I keep my current tenants from leaving to the guy next door who's offering 3 months of free rent, right? And so we're seeing a shift in now in multifamily tech towards expense saving versus revenue optimizing, if that makes sense.
Got it. And the third one, did you say homeowners? You said CRE, residential, and the third one is homeowners. Is that true?
The third one is construction tech, things where you sell to architects, engineers, and general contractors.
Got it. So construction tech by itself is a huge industry by itself. Would you bring them to like PropTech, because construction tech itself is endless in terms of project management, in terms of procurement, in terms of materials and stuff like that, isn't it? So
yes,
would you?
But it's the same building. That brand new multifamily high rise I built. Am I installing smart door locks, or am I installing old school dumb door locks, right? Am I installing motion sensitive lighting and low flow toilets, or am I installing regular old hardware and fixtures, right? I mean, it's the developer that bridges the gap between the general contractor and the eventual long-term owner has to make those decisions. And so construction tech, I think, is very much intertwined with what you could call operating tech or multifamily tech.
Got it. So for especially for new founders who are listening to this or want to venture into this, so it's a crowded place. How do you think, and what do you advise for founders who are trying to solve a problem? How to identify the right problem to solve, and where are the areas that you think are still underserved, where there are opportunities to solve?
I can tell you in 2 words. The answer is customer discovery. Go talk to the people you will be selling it to. I have never seen a deck where I said, man, that person talked to too many customers. Wow. Right? Like talk to 500. Like it's almost impossible to over discover your customer, right? Most people are like, I come from the construction industry. I know how it works. I'll solve all its problems, right? And it's like, maybe, right? But maybe it's changed since you left, or maybe downstream from where you worked at this big Fortune 500 company, it's not the same problems, right? And so it's very rare I see someone who's done an extremely thorough customer discovery of who's going to be buying their product.
So you're saying, in spite of being a veteran in the industry, you can still be shrouded by the curse of knowledge and still not know it if you're not doing customer discovery properly.
Oh, I think it's highly correlated. Smart people are the best at deceiving themselves that they're right. Like that is for sure a phenomenon in the human psyche. So you start trusting your own experience too much, and I do, and everybody else does. And I think all of us would be healthy sort of constantly checking in saying, am I solving the right problems?
Got it. Excellent. You mentioned about valuations a bit. Where are we? Like I know it's not been easy last year. 2024, they say it would be the same in terms of valuations. In fact, there are so many down rounds happening. Give us a sense of what valuations are operating today in the market, like especially during the seed round, post seed rounds, scale up round, and stuff like that.
Seed round doesn't get touched very much. It gets touched a little bit. So if you're post money if most of the post money deals I saw a couple years ago were 14 million, now they're at 12. Like that's not. I mean, as a percentage, it seems like a big number, but if we're betting on $1 billion outcomes, that's not a big change, right? So seed is the most insulated and last to sort of adjust to pricing. And so I haven't seen a ton of changes at the seed stage for the best companies, right? For the companies that are, you know, you're going to do another tenant facing app in multifamily, you're going to be subject to pricing problems, right? But if you're Elon Musk solving something that's hard in roofing and you are Elon, you can get whatever pricing you want, right? So it's not linear, and it is very much stage and geography specific, in my opinion.
Got it. And have you been receiving decks that throw the word AI all over and trying to do something in the AI space? How many are the legit AI players, and how many are using AI just to make them look cool?
I think the way I think about AI is almost like cloud computing, where it's just part of your strategy now. Like, and so everybody has an AI strategy, which I have an AI strategy, right? And so to me, having AI is not good or bad. It's just part of the story. Is it what part of the story is it? And if it's an important part, then I dig in and see, are you an AI company? Are you an AI augmented company, which is what many of us are and will become? So yes, people sprinkle AI all over everything, but most of us that have been investing for a while saw the same thing with blockchain, saw the same thing with cloud. Like it becomes another piece of the story instead of the whole story. I don't Chat GPT, like OpenAI didn't pitch me, right? That's an AI company. Anthropic didn't pitch me. There are a few in PropTech that are pure AI, and we dig into how they built what they built and what's proprietary. Most people just make it part of their strategy, and the good ones make it part of their story.
Any real use cases have you seen that have been relevant in PropTech AI use case?
Yes, I've seen a few. Yeah.
I mean, anything on top of your mind?
Well, like I saw one, like the easy one is chatbots, right? Hey, when can I check into my apartment? And hey, do you have a place for me to store my bags? What's the closest dog park? Where do I get Mexican food, right? That's been going on for a long time with chatbots. I've seen more that are integrating into back office where you can have or even replace part of your property management team and say, hey, send text messages to all of my tenants that are 10-day delinquent, and give me an email output of all of my leases that are rolling over in the next 60 days so I can preempt them with rent bump warnings or whatever. So I think the integrations with back office and a lot of the accounting and PMS software has been really interesting.
Sure. Excellent. And do you want to talk a bit about your portfolio? I really was fascinated by Amenify. A little bit about Amenify and a few more the ones that are your favorite, or the ones that you want to talk about.
Well, I don't know that I should say favorite because I love all of my portfolio companies.
Yeah, they're like
Amenify just brought it up. Amenify is one of my oldest investments, and it's been Everett's done such a great job of evolving that business where it started off as dog walking and doing, laundry and dry cleaning in your room and, cleaning your apartment. Like there were some really cool things. And COVID comes around and all that stuff is out the window, right? And now things like batch meal delivery are really differentiating apartments where I can go pay less for the same food if I move into this apartment because I get batched, Taiwanese food every other Thursday or whatever. So it's been fun to see him grow and the things he's been able to do in the multifamily space. Icon is one I did a while ago. They do 3D printed houses, and they've got deals now with the DoD and with NASA to print houses on the moon and barracks for soldiers, which has been pretty fun. They've grown a ton. I did DeskPass, which is sort of subscription office space, and I think Sam has done a great job there and just made an acquisition and raised around. And maybe one more is Moved. I love Moved when they help people move apartments and move houses. I love what Adam's done there. And when Karen was there, she's wonderful. So I know I still am lucky that all of my companies are up and to the right, and I'm very proud of them. And it's not as big as some other people's portfolios, but that was never the game I was playing, was who's got the biggest portfolio.
Sure. Or maybe because you have a smaller portfolio, you are able to see them through. Help them succeed. Do you provide? So I'm sure you provide help, what kind of help do you provide? I'm just asking you because people respect you as an investor. I'm sure the people who are listening to you now would want to meet you, maybe send their deck over to you, or have a conversation with you. What kind of support do you provide with your help of your network?
I feel like I only give you evasive answers, but they're the true answers, because the answer to that question is whatever they need. I can't, everyone's a little different and it changes from month to month, where yes, introductions is easy, and I'll do that, of course. But sometimes, hey, I'm looking to hire a COO. Who do you know? Or hey, I need to break up with one of the guys I hired earlier. Have you seen anybody do that well? Or hey, can I get in your angel group because we need to talk about how we expand to London? I know some of your guys have done that. So it sort of just depends on where they are and what they need and how often they want to call me. Because I'm not on the board. I'm not going to take a board seat, so I don't need to talk every week or even every month. But as I am needed, I like to be helpful however I can.
Got it. Got it. Let's talk about global investing. All right. As I said, 70% of our products and people on our platform is US, definitely. But I get a lot of these decks. I do not know how much you know about the market map on the Asia side. So there are these two founders from Bangladesh, and Bangladesh has got no trace of PropTech. But he just blew me with the numbers of the potential of that entire market. And these two founders came up to me and said, "Hey, Bangladesh is the next big thing. We are the two founders. There's no association, and we want to do something. But you know what? Could you connect me with somebody who would want to invest there?" Now, I have a lot of connections back in India because that's where I am from originally. And even they are not interested because their hands are full within India. India is a massive market itself. Nobody would want to go through the pain of due diligence of a country that they do not know much about. So, give me a sense of a capital deployment of different geographies that are not normal, like emerging markets like Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, and then emerging countries like Middle East and India and all of that.
Yeah, all I could tell you is my experience with it personally is most people like to invest in the country they live in because they understand it, right?
Hmm.
With the possible exception of the US, because most people seem to feel the US is the safest place to invest because of all the rules to protect investors, right? So
Got it.
maybe you live in Portugal, but you feel like US prop tech is still very interesting. So
Yeah.
I see a lot more that flows into the US than flows out of the US. Now, again, if you were born in Sri Lanka and you want to invest in Sri Lankan prop tech because you understand local jurisdictions, lending laws, foreclosure, and litigation amongst startups and their investor laws, great. I see lots of that. But I rarely see an American born person who knows prop tech that wants to invest in Libya, right? Like, again, without some, I almost never see someone taking a chance on geography because tech investing is already risky enough that introducing geography and some legislative risk into it is usually seen as a bridge too far. Now it's different for funds that have infrastructure and they have support and they have legal teams they can pay for and they can go put a person in the market and you have hundreds of millions of dollars that you can take fees off of and invest in infrastructure. That's a different game. But individuals, I've seen people be very reticent out of investing out of their home markets.
Got it. So, if not individuals, how can we help some of these folks who are reaching out? I do not want to come across as, "Hey, I do not know," but what are the few things that we can do to build a bridge to these economies that are otherwise non-existing in terms of global capital deployment?
Well, I think what you're doing and what we're doing is part of it. Just info. Here's info. Here's how things work. Here's what other people have done. Sit at the table and learn like the rest of us sit at the table and learn, right? So
Mm.
there's some of just create content that helps educate people. The other thing that I try to do is just give people ideas around if capital formation is a problem for you, here's some ideas. And I can share those if you want, but hoping you're going to get American angels into your Sri Lankan startup is an extraordinarily long shot. That is it.
Mm.
It's not zero, but it probably rounds to zero, right? And
Mm.
so think about other ways to fund the growth of your company. And again, that's not good or bad. It's just It is. This is true.
Hmm. The other thing that I could imagine is to catch hold of anybody who is a non-resident Sri Lankan or a non-resident Bangladesh who has been in the US. Okay, and he's doing well for himself, and he has got network and connections, so he can help build that bridge, and become a trusted intermediary to deploy capital from other funds, isn't it? So that is something excellent. For you, how does 2024? How do you summarize? Not summarize. It's still, we are only talking about February, but how do you see the rest of the year panning out for opportunities in investment across these three verticals that you said: residential, commercial, and construction?
Well, since I do seed stage, my appetite doesn't change a lot year to year because, again, it's not super affected by interest rates and valuations if you're
Hmm.
solving a problem. So
Hmm.
I do 2 or 3 deals a year that I like, and I'll probably do 2 or 3 deals this year that I like. So it's not like, oh, the economy's good, I'm going to do 20 deals, or the economy's bad, I'm going to do one. Like, it's always the same 2 or 3 deals a year. So it doesn't really change for me depending on the market.
So if not you, but the world functions in a different manner, right? So when the economy is good, they invest a lot, the money flows, valuation goes up. What do you have a sense of this year? Is it going like the third quarter or the fourth quarter this year is going to open up, or do you see the same sense of how it was last year prevailing?
It's a good question. Again, I'm probably not the right guy to ask because I don't spend a lot of time late stage where valuations are having problems. I would tell you, I am seeing more movement. There is more action from the late stage guys that I know. Now,
Hmm.
whether actions turns into transactions, we'll see. So I can see that happening. There being a little more action this year. Most people tell me once I hear stability on interest rates, I don't care if it's going up or down, just stable. As long as I know
Hmm.
where it's going to go, we can transact in any environment.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see more transaction volume this year.
Got it. Excellent. Well, that brings us to the end of this conversation, Matt. Thank you for sharing some of your insights. And why don't you plug a little bit about Vertical Tech, your newsletter? You do put in a lot of hard work and insight and consolidation of all the fundraise information, market maps, and a lot of other things. Do you want to shed some light about your newsletter so that other people who have not signed up yet would know more about it?
Yeah, I don't know that I put in a lot of hard work. My team puts in a lot of hard work. And what happens is I get tired of saying the same stuff over and over again. So I just write articles about it or posts about it. And so we do sporadic. We're going to do a market map this week. I don't know when you're going to publish this, but we're going to do one on single family rentals. We did the one on multifamily. We do a power list of the most valuable prop tech companies in the world, as far as we can tell, the most influential prop tech people in the world, so far as we can tell. And then every week I do a weekly update on, like, here's what happened this week that's not marketing or someone's hype department, tell them how great it was. It's more, this was a transaction that happened, or maybe an interesting article that was timely for this week. And I do that because, again, I wanted to see it for myself. And so I'm not necessarily chasing number of subscribers or revenue. It's more like I write because this is interesting to me and hopefully helpful to some people, so they can
Mhm.
stop answering the same 10 questions. I'll just put them into articles and then we can answer 10 better questions, right? So
Okay.
if you take anything away, it's that I have a good team and I'm lazy and selfish. And so I try to write and get people to read things on their own to kind of have better conversations down the line. That's the
But
idea.
still, you have a considerable reach, right? How many people does it reach to your newsletter?
Oh, it's not even 3,000. I'm going to say 26, 2,700, something like that. And I don't even know how many of those are paid subscribers. It's, again, reach has never been the goal. There's people that have 10, 20, 50 times that. It's meant for people who are, and the reason I even have paid subscribers is just because there's so many people that want to talk about prop tech who's actually invested, right? And if you can't afford a few bucks a month to get a newsletter, you're not
Hmm.
invested. That's fine. You're not wrong. Like, you're just not one of us yet, right? Like, once you're one of us,
It filters.
now,
Yes, exactly. It filters out the
yeah.
non-relevant from the
And
relevant.
now I can help you, right? Like, now I can make intro. Now I can help you with recruiting. Now I can give you free resources. Like, I need to know you're sort of in the bubble. And once you are, I'll give you everything I can give you, right? But lots of tire kickers, lots of tourists, lots of people, like you said, going home because the market's bad. That's not us, right? Like those of us that are in it for the long run, that's what the newsletter's for. Let's kind of find out who's sort of in this bubble with us.
Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you for your time again. We'll hope to get you back soon again when we have newer insights to catch up from you.
Well, thanks, man.